this one, I don't think, I could put into words, but I'll try. I had this experience, of my daughter. I ain't seen my daughter like in last 10 years.
Wow.
She don't live here. She lives overseas, so. I mean, since we're touching on fatherhood and all of that, like just letting you guys know, the experiences, us fathers do have, you know what I mean? So I had to fly out of St. Lucia to go and see my little princess.
Of course.
But the thing about it is, like what I've been doing, from since she was a toddler, I have always, done a lot of, how you call this again, FaceTime,
right.
Like little, phone calls,
There's communication,
little voice notes, so she could get familiar with my voice, and who I am, photos, and all of that. Anyway, I fly out. She didn't know I was coming, so the principal at her school in Barbados, knew about it. The security guard, teachers, her homeroom teacher, and she was graduating. That was the main reason why I went down. So she didn't know I was coming. As soon as I landed, straight to the school. As soon as I got to the school, hey listen, they had to hide me in a little room. They had to hide me in a room because she didn't know I was coming. Right?
Okay, yeah.
So I got there, sat down, and they told her you're in trouble, because they cannot let you know that I'm there.
Right.
So while she's walking down, she's like, oh, I'm in trouble, like playing with her fingers, Listen, this child, when she saw me, this child basically did a leap from here to over there and just jump in my arms.
Wow.
Listen to me, this experience that I had, I don't think I want any parent to go through this. I mean, I will not even explain to you guys, the reason why I wasn't seen as often.
What I just didn't understand is like, I know you see that experience, but what type of feeling you're talking about exactly? Because you say you see her, just to see her excited, you never see that excitement before.
Nah, never. The last time I saw her, she was like maybe 2.
So
she's 12 years old now.
So what you're saying is like, as if like you say nobody should do that, like stay away for so long.
Yes.
Because it makes you feel empty or something like that.
Yes. I mean, after that long period of time, seeing my daughter, that experience alone, tells you a lot. And the worst thing about it is when I had to leave. Imagine that. Just leaving. Came for a little bit, just to see her graduate, and then I had to leave. But I had a short stay.
Okay. So how much of an involvement you had with her and the mother? In other words, during that FaceTime, that video call, was there that kind of relationship with the mother, where the mother would allow for her to be free to speak to you?
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't like that before. The mother, on another level, that type of vibe, we didn't have that type of relationship,
Yeah.
But moving forward in that, that's one of the main reasons why, me and my daughter wasn't so close. Again, we need to encourage us men, to try and be in our children's life, especially, the young girls, because my daughter believes that I'm a superhero.
Right.
No matter what, I'm a superhero. I'm very, very much involved in her life. I do what I'm supposed to do.
That was a superhero move.
Yeah, man.
You fly.
So yes. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing as a father,
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, she's always gonna be, like my daughter, my princess. You know what I mean?
But I think the challenge there, not just for men and also for women, when we have that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
Most times we show up when the child or when the young one is either graduating or has achieved something. All of a sudden we show up, and then like we would say in our parties, as all of a sudden, where were you?
Oh yeah.
Because the question can be asked, 10 years, Barbados to St. Lucia is not so much of a far distance, so to speak.
Yeah. But again, the thing about it, as I said, like I tried doing it before.
Right.
I tried leaving. But the thing about it is, again, the mother and myself, we just don't deal.
The relationship.
So it was bad. Every time I tried to get over there, she probably wouldn't be answering the phone.
But that is
so it was hard.
That is where I think the key, and it is not like I said earlier on. It is something that both the male and the female deals with, their mother or father, where there is someone always trying to prevent the child or the father or the mother from being involved in the child's life. And I think the children ultimately suffers because you have girls, you have a girl. I have two girls myself. You know? And if I would come in now to talk about my experience as a father, my eldest daughter is 25. She just graduated from university overseas, and the younger one is 20. And we basically, there's the three of us. Now, I would have to almost define for me what single parent is. Most times when we talk about single parents, we refer to just the male or the female and the child or the children. In my case, the mother lives on island, but we were separated for a long time. I lived with them. I lived with the two girls, but the mother was always present. In fact, I made it almost mandatory. To a certain extent, it didn't really work out well, because we have to understand that children at that age tend to develop their own thought process. In other words, why did mommy leave? Why did daddy leave? And then they make up their own thing in their head. So there is sometimes, you have sometimes where there is the resentment towards either the mother or the father. And that is also perpetuated also by either the mother or the father. The mother can say, he ain't taking care of you and all that kind of stuff, and it can go the other way around. In my case, I encouraged it, because there's only so much I can do as a male. As young girls, they go through the stages of life.
So, alright, I just want to say the first thing, like, you knew that you couldn't do everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fact.
So that's like the mature move right there. Because some people might say, you know what, I don't need this person. You know, I could do everything by myself. So I feel that's where we have to start with the level of maturity, you know, just to have the right communication.
But there's also the other aspect whereby we men introduce a female into the household thinking that female can replace the mother, and it can go both ways. But since we're talking about fatherhood, so what we do as males, we feel we can do everything. So since we have girls, we need somebody, a female, to take care of the girl or the children. And we introduce that female into the household. Unfortunately, in most cases, it don't last for too long. So what you have now is a repeat. You know, probably after 5 months, after 6 months, another one comes in. That in that way, we are sometimes confusing the children.
But you know something I noticed as well, and listening to you, China, I'm thinking about my experience as a father and my experience with my father as well.
That's
because I was raised in a single parent family, right, with my mother, but I heard more of what my father did not do than what my father, and I think that's a big problem we have in St. Lucia. So you there, like somebody just said a while ago, your father ain't doing nothing, your father ain't this, your father ain't that. So honestly, I grew up hating my father, and anything that reminded me of my father, I kind of pull away from it. The weirdest thing is I started looking exactly like my father. So like, how are you running away from that, you know? And I mean, I understand that my mother and father had their issues, and I understand how the issues affected her. But then at the same time, when you told me everything that my father, I said, hey, my father. As an adult now, I'm realizing, yo, my father one of the iriest fellas I know. You know, my father's the one that sit down, give me advice of everything. My father's the one who tell me, don't put all my eggs in different baskets. Make sure you have one basket and just lay everything you have to lay there. You know? So now then, but yeah, so to me, you have other baskets, but you have to learn from me. So check yourself, you know? But then, if I had to stay and listen to everything that I heard about what he was not doing, I'd be lost. You know, and I think we have a lot of young men especially, the fact that we had that disconnect from our father, it affects how good of a father we could be. Because regardless of the mistakes that the fathers of before made, there's still something to learn from them, you know? And I think that's a big thing we need to figure out.
I want to comment on what you did, the fact that you actually took time to at least try and reach us some way or somehow. There are fathers who not even call or anything of that sort and might even forget they have a child.
Yeah, the thing about it again, you as a father, you have to try to be there for your children, your child, no matter what.
And that's a good thing you did, because everybody have their own experience, and I have my own actually. My entire life I grew up with my mother. This one time I think I was like 4 years old, and
you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically my
memory go there.
my father people, they know I'm his child, but then he always say that I'm not his child.
I take that and more real.
And the thing is,
these people might as well start having a more episode.
But these people just check on me time to time and stuff, and well, actually they invited me to some gathering they have in December.
That's on your father's side?
Yeah, on my father's side, but he's the only one denying the fact about it. And the thing is, I think I was 4 or 5, and that time I was close to my father people. And they tried to hook me up on a phone call with him, and on the phone call, like, he blatantly told me, "You're not my child."
Ouch.
And honestly, I'm not the kind of person to hate people, and I never grew up hating people, and up to like today I don't hate him. But I mean, after that time, I only met him once by accident, because like I said, his people and I we good, and his brother, he have a brother who usually checks on me, or he give me a ride or not. And I was training for football, and then I saw the car parked by the field, but then he was going to the bakery. So I said, let me go and check my uncle, boy, let me go and check my uncle. Go in and check the person, I realizing it's him who have the car. Now the thing is, my father looks like me, but with hair.
He looks like you with hair?
Yeah, with hair.
Oh, okay.
But a different looks. That's the only difference. Eyes, everything else the same. So I recognized him as my father, and then he started questioning me and whatnot, saying like, who's my mother? I say, don't worry about who's my mother. But what age that? I was in maybe from 13 years. 13. Yeah. And like, he asked me if I want anything to eat. I said, no, I'm good. I just gonna check on my uncle and whatnot. So he asked me, who's my father? I say, that's a very nice question. Who's my father? That's a question.
So your father asking you who's your father?
Yes. And I look just like the man.
And he didn't know he was his son?
He didn't know. Of course he knew. Because I said,
so he just playing you?
Yeah. So I said, I'm gonna check my uncle.
But your mother always tell you that's your father.
Now the thing about my mother never raised me and tell me you should hate your father or anything of that sort. My mother gave it to me plain and simple. Your father say you're not his child. I understand that, she told me that she understands she's a mother. There is only little she can do as a mother, but not fully as a father. And she never educated me to hate my father or anything of that sort. I mean, she never actually told me what went on between she and my father, but then she just told me, that's your father.
That's your father.
You say he's not your father.
But guys, they have easy ways of knowing that's your father, guys.
What is it that you would want from your father?
Honestly, just the fatherhood aspect of it.
What is it for you? What does fatherhood mean?
It means a lot to me.
What does it mean?
In terms of the fact that you would learn certain things about your father. Sometimes you not even teach it to you, but by you just watching what he does or not, you learn automatically.
Yeah,
or it just becomes with you. And that's the thing about me. I never learned anything from my father. What I did, I turned any negative thing I see anybody do, or especially males, and I turn it to my positive where I learn from it and kind of make it my parent, I could kind of say.
Okay, but listening to you, you have been able to acquire some form of maturity. I mean, I admire that from you, that you can speak so freely on that. But okay, who did you look up to in terms of a male figure?
Male figure, like I said, I didn't have a specific individual. Any negativity, I turn it to my positivity.
So in your household, who was there? Your mother and who else?
It was only my mother and I living together through everything we went through.
Wow.
And
so you were the only child?
No.
Okay.
And honestly, like, there was a time when I was a little younger, it was really happy, and my mother made me at 18.
so she didn't have a safe, nothing of that sort. It was so hard that I would, things was happening outside. I watched my mother, and I just dig a whole pit toilet and make a pit toilet. That's how hard things was. A female lifting up a fork and a spade and digging a hole and setting up everything. Thing galvanized as the thing around the
toilet. A powerful mother.
I'm trying to imagine that. Wow.
That's how things was. And I mean, as a boy, I was 6 years old. I washed my own clothes in my hand.
So when you're at school and you see, for example, when you have these activities and you see your friends coming with their fathers, do you feel left out?
Of course I do. I mean, if it doesn't touch you, you're not a human being.
Yeah.
But you've been able to mask it. You've been able to keep
I
it.
mean,
how was that? Do you think it has affected you in any way, or it has made you stronger?
Of course it has made me stronger.
In what way it has affected you?
I mean, mentally.
Yeah.
If I see or I know somebody who has both of their parents and they're doing nonsense with themselves, I would speak to them in a way that it would reach them. I mean, you cannot be a ghetto boy and I come and speak to you formally and tell you, well, young man, it will never reach you. It will never reach you. And I, as a friend, I would say, my brother, you see, I don't have my father thing and you disrespect my father.
So you see them,
like I said,
not appreciation.
I try to show them what they don't see, and that's what a lot of young people they encounter, especially when they don't have a father or mother figure. And I mean, I know we're talking about it's just us fellas there, but then when you watch it on the female side, it's actually worse because, like you all know, they would say they don't get love from their father, so they go to a male figure to get love. And when you watch it from that side, it's pretty messed up because if, let's say, you go to a male to get love and then you're only 15, you get pregnant, you lose your entire life right away.
It happens all the time.
And
man.
It happens very frequent in solution. It even reached to the extent where it changes you from a female mentality to a male mentality.
I know something I checked. Imagine, right? When we were pregnant, meaning my partner and I, and we went to give birth because I was at the hospital. So imagine, after we had Nia, my daughter, the nurses called me and said, before I could hold my daughter that we made, the nurses called me and said to me, Ras, come and sign that. So I come and sign the thing.
Ras, come and sign that.
I'm reading this paper that says like Junior such and such Dillis, father is so. So I had to sign a paper saying that's my child.
Right.
So I'm saying this, what magie is that? You know? I left from yesterday with the same clothes on me. Like, you know, why? You look at me and tell me that's not my, like, I'm not signing that. I just want my child. You know?
So before you own a child, you have to sign that.
And then you know what they said to me, and boy, that's sticking my up to the edge. Let's tell me, Ras, you don't realize you're the only man here? And the nurse said to me, Ras, look at that. And while the nurse was saying that to me, this vehicle come in a taxi. So this guy come in, he bumps in, you know? Drops this young girl there. And then the man tell girl, yeah, so when you finish, you go shout me.
When you finish, what, make the baby?
Yeah, my partner go back on his ride. He's taxi and he go back. And then like so it's like you check the young lady into. And then when I looked at it, there was so many young ladies. And so little fathers showing support. My brother, when I saw that, I realized I was still angry, but I realized why I had to sign the paper. Because admittedly, though, you know, it's only fair that you should not say anything bad. Like a woman should not talk down on a child father regardless, and I applaud women who don't do it. But some of us lapsing.
I mean,
big time.
I mean, that's just the situation that we're in. You know, it's easy to point out all, you know, this and that and the third, but we have to realize the situation that we're in right now. That's the world we live in.
What's the cause? What do you think is the cause of it?
The cause
is
cause
and effect. In other words, we are dealing with the situation now, but where is the root?
In my opinion, it's several things. Slavery.
I don't know.
But if you're asking, I'm not sure. I wasn't there. But what I'm trying to say is like I know if it's right now I can only talk about right now. The egos. The ego, the mentality of the man and the woman, and who they are to society right now. You know what I'm saying? And the roles that a man should play and a woman should play.
So basically you're saying that is a responsibility that you have already, in other words, if you're going to get involved with a female and you have a child, you now automatically have to take up that responsibility.
Of course.
Whether or not there is love involved. Because sometimes we do get involved with females and there is no love. There is just the fun thing.
Right.
And unfortunately
that's when the ego, when I say ego, the level of maturity, the way of thinking, your background, everything that would make you into that parent person. Because even though you might be 25, maybe you could be a parent at 25, but maybe you can't at 45. Different people have different situations, different time. But what happened is that it just happened like this, like what you just said. Like all of a sudden you're having fun, boom, a child.
You become a parent.
You become a parent. Nothing is actually planned. Regardless of contraceptives and everything. It just happened.
You asked where did it come from?
Yeah.
And I would say two things in my opinion. I would say one, inheritance, because there are certain things you just inherit naturally. And we have gone a long way where one man back in the day make 13, 14 children but with different parents, and then some of them is saying they're not even his child. So it came from inheritance in that stem and came down. And I would say the second thing is what we see around us, because us young people seeing diamond making children and he just dropping them and things. Why you not doing it? So they didn't think that, but then that's how it comes out, and that's why I would say what they see around them, they just do it.
Alright, there's another scenario, us men,
Right.
You meet a female, she has 1 or 2 children.
Already.
Right. Do you think like the responsibility, you basically dating, you're going out, boyfriend and girlfriend type of thing. Do you think that, you're supposed to take on that responsibility as well? Play that father role in that female's life with her children?
Of course.
I think it's according to the relationship you'll have, and the relationship that the child have with the father. It have to do with the situation. That's why I think mature individuals should just make a right situation. So it have to be the perfect situation where the kid will have nobody else, and you are the father figure at that time, similar to what you were saying, and that could happen.
Well, to me that's automatic. That's automatic as long as you start dating a female and she has kids. Or some people call it baggage. Whatever she has, you have to.
You're talking about just dating.
No, I'm talking about in a relationship.
Well, that's different from a relationship. If it's a real deep, intimate relationship, you live together. You're doing serious.
Sometimes you really have to live together. But you basically go out with a woman.
Yeah, I think you should definitely take responsibility. But still, it's according to the situation, because I've seen some bad situations where the egos of men or the egos of women doesn't allow that, and that affects the kid even more. So I don't think it should be forced upon. I think it's something that gradually happens because of love.
I think I totally agree. If I get myself involved with a female and she has a child or she has children, automatically I just think it is my responsibility also.
Yeah, of course.
If that child or the children are going to school and she can't do it on her own, I should be able to.
I even think like sometimes whether she can't do it or she can't do it on her own, you still have to be paying.
I think
that's father role.
No, I think people have to be very careful with that.
I
think that's a very careful thing. I think we would want to. That's love. Nothing wrong with that. But situations are different. You shouldn't force yourself upon that. But it should be something that should be done if the situation is right.
Okay, well, you see, the thing about it is society makes us men feel guilty. As long as you see a woman,
we're guilty. We're guilty. We've been guilty.
Especially when she has children.
We're guilty. We men, we're guilty. We just guilty. We just guilty.
Explain that. What do you mean we are guilty? Do you mean we too guilty?
Because we never write until we could prove ourselves as men.
Yeah.
You know, because
so you're saying that the world, that society has always been seeing us as
has been the fault.
Listen, as black men, we are guilty. You understand? In the eyes of society, men, women, teachers. From you born a boy, before you do something, what you do? You know, you do something wrong. You know, so you have to constantly prove yourself. So that's where the ego build. You know, and that could be easily broken by a female.
You know, as you say that there, it brought me to a situation. So I was in a shoe store, right? And there were two ladies in the store. So this guy passed out in his child. All of a sudden, now you want to play like your fathers? So I said, you know him? No, I know him, sir. Yeah. So then, Gasa, look at next one. So what, today is a spree? Today, as Father's Day close, you want to play like you're stepping up. So I'm like, yo, but I'm a father. I live with my daughter. I do that same kind of thing, and I know a lot of fathers who do that too. But how is now you want to start?
Yeah, but I don't see anything wrong in that.
So I myself, I'm wondering like, you'd rather us be absent, man? So you come back to what you say.
They look at you and they see you as one person. So we really have to be that person. The good one of the few good ones really have to be that person. You know, like Chinese. Good example. You know, because look at what he's doing. You stick with them from that, and he's still trying to get the woman involved. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But going back to what he said in terms of the inheritance part, in other words, it's like my father has, I mean, I'm the first of my father's children. And most times when people ask me how many children, brothers and sisters, I normally have to go on my fingers and count. The number never registered in my head.
Too numerous to mention.
In fact, I remember once my father introduced me to my sister. And if he's going to hear this, it was the worst thing that he ever did, was to look at me and say, before you tell me she's your girlfriend, she's your sister. And this is a girl that I had seen before, and you know, I was shocked, you know.
That's funny.
But you see, his age group, as far as he's concerned, it's the macho thing, you know. Because his age group,
well, true.
These are the men with a lot of women, you know.
As if it's from the 1940s.
Yeah, and as far as they're concerned, nothing wrong with that. You know. So it goes back to what you said about inheriting these things. In other words, you would hear some, you know, your grandmother or your mom saying, "Imem ko papa, ini famla, you know." Yeah. And it's almost as if you don't do that, your father don't see you as being his son or being a man. You're supposed to have a lot of girlfriends. You're not supposed to have one woman. I mean, I have 2 children with 1 female. And when I look back at my father, when my father was my age, my father had so many already.
Right.
Now, am I missing out on anything? No, I don't. Because I will tell you, once I saw I was with my youngest daughter. We were in town close to Christmas time. And this lady dragged this little girl across the street, shouting at her and saying, cursing her and saying, "Your effing father ain't giving me nothing." And I remember the look on my daughter's face. She was shocked. And she was almost in tears because she saw that little girl crying. And there she has it in terms of being with me as a father and going and get things because it's Christmas time. You know, so I can understand from that perspective. Now, we as males in our society, we are quote unquote sometimes under pressure. And this is not a justification, because you as a young man, for example, when you look around in your school, at school, and you see your partners having girlfriends and you know they're doing things already, and you're like, boy, should I follow that trend, or do I want to repeat what my mom went through with, you know, allow a female to experience what my mom went through? You visually, you physically, you saw it, and it hurt you. And I must commend you. I mean, it's really nice to a young man at your age can speak like that. And that's very good. But at the same time, you also find yourself under pressure. Because if you don't join the guys, you know, if you play sport, you will get young girls coming after you. So now you know how to make a decision whether you take one or you deal with the 3 or the 4 who like to see you. And it's something that is just natural at your age. You feel you have to quote unquote spread your wings. You understand? But hearing
that's
you,
the expectation.
that is the expectation.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Hearing you, I must say you have your head properly screwed on, and I mean I would encourage you to stay on that track, you know. But going back to what you said about the pressures that we men have, whether and you brought in that racial aspect of it as black men, and that's why sometimes when we discuss these things, people tend to say the root of it is slavery, where the man was just asked to just go impregnate the woman and take away the woman. I don't think that in any way influence who we are today.
I don't think so at all. It doesn't have anything to do with slavery. Because if it has anything to do with slavery, then then we still experience the same thing right now. You understand? Because
I mean, to go on along that line, I think we still are. But I will not even touch on that because that's a ticklish.
But what I'm trying to
I cannot borderline.
The reason I'm saying that is not just us in the Caribbean going. This is happening to people in Europe, Russia, China, Japan, Australia. It doesn't really matter.
So it's a myth, basically.
That's a myth
about how the black man is not so much of a family man, because the typical family we saw.
The black man is a family man.
But the typical family we see on TV, and again that is a stereotype. Is the white seated at the table having dinner,
of course.
And whereas the black is always...
That's because we have to understand that because we didn't create television.
Right.
We're not the people who create television. The people who create television are on TV the most.
This program is brought to you by Fix, Financial Investment and Consultancy Services Limited.